And now we can go into the last game of the day. I don't know if you guys are excited, but it's going to be a spicy one. It's going to be Astralis versus Vanir. For Vanir, they can't make playoffs, but obviously it is good for them to get those victories. For Astralis, it is to climb to the stars. It is really important for them, and we need to look into this matchup. Where should we focus? Vanir versus Astralis.
Now, I think, okay, so this game is going to be quite interesting because Vanir are suffering from Bifrost disease. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Bifrost disease was the mid-split lack of identity, and now it just feels like Vanir has the exact same thing. Vanir are just, if you look at their drafts, they're drafting something new every single time, and I just think, please pick a style. I think early game roaming for Ericsson. Ericsson was shining light to me last game. They played definitely really well, but then they need to stick to that win condition because they definitely did throw and not play to it come mid-game. But definitely stick to a style and get really good at it before you start playing a bajillion in a row.
Mom NLC, can we keep him? I want to keep this guy. On the other side, what can we expect?
Well,
Tell me, Duckling.
for Astralis, I think they are trying to find, again, their early game footing. To me, Hexa is the key to unlocking that. Still with Volibear being the meta, he's someone who likes to play for the team, and he is very good at doing just that. So, throw him on the Volibear, in my opinion, and just allow him to open up the early game. Sencux is still in good form in my eyes. To me, also, the bot lane is very interesting because Chrisberg is a very good hyper carry when he gets in that situation. And Merbs, we saw him in the entirety of NLC Division 2 last split, and also this split, being played for, being nurtured nicely, and he was about the late game team fight. So if we get both drafts going around the bot lanes, we could have very exciting 30-40 minute team fights where these AD carries are really skill testing each other because they're both great.
Don't destroy my table, but start the game, Eragon.
There you go.
That was a smooth one, a gentle one. Astralis 9-6 versus Vanir 5-10. Obviously, they still have the power to play upset versus Astralis, but Carlson is getting more solid as well. We heard him on the previous interview. He was really happy regardless of the result they got in. It's going to be the Gnar taken away.
No, I was about to say, Carlson, every single opportunity he's gotten, he's picked Gnar. Whether it's counter pick, whether it's blind pick, no matter what, I think he thinks Gnar is the best champion in the game. So
his champion pool is really big. It can play Gnar normal, Gnar galactic, Gnar astronaut.
Dino Gnar.
Dino Gnar, yeah.
Funny, didn't laugh.
But it definitely... what I'm expecting to see and how Astralis have been playing is scaling bot and top with like the Gnar, for example, scaling bot and top, playing through that mid jungle with roaming support. I expect to see that, for example, last game, Kiba was my shining light. He played the Amumu, was never bot lane, and just ran around the map 1v9ing. I expect to see something similar to that again with a skirmishing mid jungle.
Now, let me throw in a curveball, because this was something Carlson did before he was Carlson, back when he was Fart Control, back in the Danish second version. He played a lot of set, and he was very, very good at set. And you talked about the stakes of this game, obviously very high for Astralis, but in a situation where you can still, you've locked playoffs, you can experiment a bit more, maybe get him on that, it would be exciting. But obviously the meta has to come first, and this area being open does get locked in.
Yeah. And Set was a good champion when Stride Breakers was available, you know?
That was before Stride Breaker even, that was when I was like 16.
This is where I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna be honest. I would ban Carlson if he picked Set. I think Set is garbage, but yeah, I'm sorry, mate. It's not a good champion.
I would love it.
Yeah, fun. I like Set too. I mained it for a while. Anyway, they picked Twitch into the Zero. Pretty classic answer. Match the scaling. Like I said, they picked scaling bot side for Astralis and simply match the scaling. Merbs has been playing scaling recently. I think and also there's going to be scaling top side for Dreampool probably. He's been playing weak side as well, except for last game where they did play the Camille Galio. But like I said, it's a different composition every time. So who knows what we're going to get for Vanir.
There's no cat though, and you have you have the Zeri and you have the Twitch. What do you want as a support?
Look, I just want to mention, they locked in the Viego. They prioritized that higher than the Volibear. In my eyes, the Volibear is now open, and all of a sudden, you have a great young enough attack, so you have a very good AD carry for Chrisberg, and these two AD carries could really be duking it out in the late game. I want to see them pick that up, in all honesty.
Volibear and Nautilus?
Take it. Volibear and Nautilus sounds like a great deal in my book, and they take the Volibear. I am wondering why Vanir prioritized the Viego that highly, considering the Volibear was open, but I'm happy for Astralis. They get a very, very good champion here for free.
So where does Viego shine to get this sort of priority?
So Viego as a champion, you typically want to pick it with a strong CC mid lane. Like a common combination that we saw in the LPL and the LEC was the Viego plus Lissandra, right? So you ultimate Lissandra, ultimate target with Lissandra, you get that single target CC, then you get the Viego to follow up, you get that reset, and you also get the Lissandra reset at the same time. It's a broken combination. I do not know if we're going to get that, but that's one way. They could also take Sejuani top lane. Sejuani works well with Viego, the passive, but they might just pick support here as well. There you go.
There is an easy support. You can proc the concussive blows really fast as well. It's not an Ezreal or an Illusion, but it's still going to be reliable.
Really importantly, counters the Nautilus and all-ins. Nautilus can never be proactive into a Brummel. If he goes into a Brum, he just gets passive procced and run down.
Bans are coming in. Where should we focus now, Duckling?
I'm looking at the mid laners in my eyes. Yes, the Corgi has been removed, but I want to see more bans there because both these chain players have very big pools. We already see the Azir being removed. You could maybe remove the Akali as well from Sencux because he has had a couple good games on that. In my eyes, maybe the Sylas as well if you want to deny the opportunity of stealing away the Braum ultimate, which could be pretty brutal in those team fights.
What about the Ahri? We've seen Sencux play the Ahri as well. He's a menace with that champion. He's really comfortable, but then you allow the Lissandra to step in alongside with the Viego. It doesn't seem like a good answer.
There's the Sylas.
I'm getting really concerned about the Lissandra pick for Vanir. I think if Vanir pick Lissandra, it's really, really Draft Kingdom because now Sylas is banned by Astralis. Sylas is the counter to Lissandra. You ban the Sylas to get the Lissandra. So it's really curious. I wonder if Astralis are going to pick it away or ban it.
As we know, waiting to see, regardless of Vanir, do end up following up on that mid lane trend at the moment by banning away the Victor. So a lot of these mages have been removed. So it is just the question, will they ban that Lissandra as you highlighted, or will they give it over? In the end though, let's see what it'll be.
Or maybe we'll get something else entirely. We'll see. I'm not really sure of Vanir. It's like picking champions out of a hat to me.
I don't think they're worried about the top lane, so maybe that's not going to happen. The last one is taking a long time. It's going to be the Lissandra, so this opens the Ahri for the Sencux.
Oh. He's not going to lock it in. He's not going to lock it in.
Wait.
Merb's the Draven? No,
because I'm trying to see if it's the Rimba time to pick, but I don't think so. Yeah, I was really confused. Even this one, I'm not even going to pay attention to this one. I got you baited. Don't worry. No. It's going to be on one side you have the Sylas and the Ahri, the Lissandra band, so might as well take the Ahri.
And this is pretty similar. This works pretty well with the Viego as well. You charm and then you get the follow-up as well. And also, crucially, Ahri brings some roaming too. So you match the roaming potential and maybe snowball through top because you have red side counter pick. I guess we'll see with Dreampool's counter.
What about a Swain for Sencux?
I'm actually not too sure of the Swain versus Ahri matchup. I don't see it enough personally, so I actually can't comment. I'm not sure if you know.
So what is your reply?
I am a jungle main, man. Though, see, that is a trip down memory lane. If you don't remember 2016 Splice, the full Danish roster, one that was struggling. I remember a particular game, I think it was against Giants, I'm not too sure about that, where Sencux simply just blow them all up, 4-man, double W, and just deleted them all. And that is a Fiora for Carlsen. Come nu, man.
Your answers are Gangplank, any range champion, and the rest of them are going to be skill matchups. You have your Jax as well. This is not real.
No, don't worry. It's over. We don't talk about those. We're just getting jibaited. We're just getting jibaited. For the top line, Fiora. This is an interesting one because this could be the first time we get to see Carlsen on a more aggressive pick.
Do I get to talk about Renekton matchup?
You got your pick! Okay. It's on you, Aragon. How does this go?
This is a skill matchup favored towards Renekton. I win it every single time. Basically, Renekton wins. Okay, so Fiora wins the early levels, gets prior in the first few waves, right? Assuming that she doesn't troll into minions with Conqueror on the Renekton. However, Renekton then wins up until about level 13. Then Fiora starts to outscale as well, given items and the levels. That's pretty much how the curve goes. Renekton definitely does have the early game, and what we're seeing now is the Ahri roaming up topside into the Renekton lane, which we saw yonks ago. I think it was, I can't remember how long ago. I think it was into M&M, and they actually won with this comp, so I'm really excited to see how it goes.
By the way, what's the name of the passive?
Absolutely no idea. I don't remember Renekton.
We talked about this, Reign of Anger.
I have terrible memory.
Also, remind everybody, Braum's passive with Renekton, with Viego, they're so easy to proc. So on team fights, this could be a menace. So let's see who's going to take this one. It is Astralis. It is Vanir. One team just playing for spoiler. The other one still climbing the mountain. Who do you favor back at home on the Twitch chat? Just spam it away as we send it to the casters.
Hello. I just realized you were on the screen behind you while I was looking down at my screen and not being as entertaining, so I figured I had to do like a little dance or something. You've lost your hat.
Someone took my can, man.
It's because you're no longer worthy of being Teemo.
It's on the camera.
That's genius. Like, it's literally like, where they go?
Hey! I will let you crown me.
All hail Her Majesty, Teemo the
Thank
First.
you very much. Now I feel like myself again. Wait.
You know what? I think
There we go.
your toxic trait is being Teemo. I take it. All right, on to the Rift we go for our final game of the day. A lot of fun and games here as I've managed to get some hair on my face. Thank you, Trouble.
It's still there.
God damn it.
Stand still. Got it.
You could see that, but basically, Drum was playing mom there, just like cleaning up my face. I clearly can't look after myself. Good grief. All right, stakes for this game. Vanir, out of relegations, but out of playoffs as well after the results of today, unfortunately for them. However, for Astralis, things have suddenly got a lot spicier, a lot more challenging for them. X7 won, that puts them a game ahead. Bifrost won, tying them up with Astralis in game wins right now. Lose this, and next week games get very, very scary indeed.
What I'm hearing here is Vanir stakes 0. Astralis stakes through the roof. All of your opponents around you have won their games today, so you definitely want to be moving further up that chain. They might still have a chance to catch up with the second place. Only 2 wins away, only 3 games remaining. They still have a chance to reach that second spot. Mind you, first and second seed in the NLC playing the upper bracket, meaning you have a second life. You lose the first best off, you fall towards the lower bracket, but you're not instantly out.
Of course, eyes beyond playoffs as well for some of these teams. There's that potential prize, that honor of representing the NLC at EU Masters, and that involves...
That's immeasurable.
Indeed, of course it is. And that involves, you know, getting towards the upper end of those playoff standings. You need to be finishing at the very least top 2. Of course, not quite sure where seedings and stuff will lie with the Amazon EU Masters as yet, but at the very least, you want to be pushing right towards that top 2.
Right, moving into this particular game and seeing Astralis' composition again, here is the blueprint of Astralis. Get Taxa onto a ganking, proactive, early game jungler. Done. You have the Volibear. Get Sencux onto a either scaling mid or a mid-jungle duo you can play through.
Done.
Done. You've got the LeBlanc, which is a skill matchup into the Ahri. But honestly, when it comes to trades, it's usually favorable towards that LeBlanc, because with LeBlanc, you usually want to trade into taking Ahri's life away, meaning you push the further back into lane, meaning you get to bleed your pressure first, together with your proactive jungler. Now, get Crispberg onto a hyper carry down the bot lane. Done. Allow Carlson a safe weak side pick.
Ignite's available! Ericsson has to flash. The root's in, but will there be a final auto? Needs a Q! First blood solo for Sencux.
Solo Polo coming in for Sencux. We don't need no junglers up in here. Both him and Buckland with the solo kills on the LeBlanc this season. And again, this is a skill matchup where when LeBlanc constantly trades into you, chipping on your HP bar, these trades can come through the wave and actually take away your whole bar. And Ericsson blows his flash, blows his teleport. Remember, Taxa is used to ganking early, and now there's no flash on this level 3 Ahri.
Exactly that, and Astralis have made a career this split of making playing mid lane an absolute hell. Everybody turns up mid at every opportunity. You've just blown flash, you've just blown teleport, and you've got a Nautilus and a Volibear who will be looking to roam mid at every given opportunity. Ericsson, this is not a particularly healthy place to be in.
Oh, level 4 now for the Renekton, level 3 for Carlson. He needs to be very careful because Kraox is actually shadowing the top side for Dreampool right there. Aragon mentioned it as well. This matchup does favor, it's a skill matchup, but it does favor Renekton up until level 12 or 13. Then the items start scaling a little bit more for Fjord, does get the edge. But if you put the Renekton ahead in the early, she'll have a much harder time catching up. Now Taxa, of course, we mentioned it. No flash onto Ericsson.
Flash! Thundering! Smash! Udyr wishes he could slap like that pair. Another kill to Sencux.
Man, sometimes I wish I could ask for $1 million for it to fall on my head, because there's 3 things that are certain in this life. Death, German taxis, and Taxa ganking you level 3 and level 4.
He and Diamond Prox have taken a particular, you know, they've basically made their whole career this bit about that, let's be real. Kiba, though, looking for potentially a little angle in here, but Kraox is around, and of course, with the passive, could mean problems for Kiba. He's been ignited. Kraox now looking for a potential angle around the angle, flash away from Kiba, alongside the heal from Chrisberg. Ugly stuff from Astralis spot lane. We're not ready for that.
Yeah, I think Kiba got caught in all of the min wave as well. So you got creep block right there. Took one too many auto attacks from Merps. Ignite blown from Zaremba for double summoner from the side of Astralis, and Kraox was shadowing, of course, because that wave was being pushed. So you want to minimize the chances that your bot lane will get punished. Kiba again getting caught by the passive. Only one more shot would have stunned Kiba in place. Now Taxa yet again hovering around that mid lane. You know that the pink ward is there. Taxa does not have the flash available, and Ericsson is very close to getting his Spirit Rush level 5 for now.
May well be needing it, of course. Still no flash in either of these mid laners, but Ericsson definitely on the worst end of these trades. A solo kill and then the gank in mid lane has met this Ahri a long way behind in this. LeBlanc on the other side, a champion that's fallen out of the presence that they were in before. Very much in the ascendancy now in this game. Hops forward with the distortion, doubles it up with the mimic. Has got the ethereal chains on, but here comes Vanir to try and punish, but straight back to the initial start. And nothing more to be seen.
And that was so important for Zaremba and Kraox to be there. The fact that Ericsson is sitting more than an entire wave behind. You see Sencux, instant level 6. He takes the engage. He takes another one, level 6 now for Ericsson.
Charm, but now Astralis are mid lane. What a surprise. And both of these teams have tried to make a 3v1 happen, neither of which have entirely succeeded as yet.
Yeah, top lane for now. It's a handshake. Both junglers have been pinged. Kraox slowly but surely actually shadowing the movements of Taxa around the map. Taxa, of course, being one step ahead right there on the ganks and on the Scuttle Crab, which is going to be a big fight for.
Teleport's coming through from Carlson, but it means he's not actually around here as yet, and that gives Kraox the opportunity to take away that Scuttle Crab. It's a small win, but a win it is nonetheless. And Dreampool in that part of the matchup, this kind of pre-level 13 point where the Renekton certainly has the advantage, at least according to Aragon, and I trust his opinion when it comes to high-level Renekton matchups.
Pretty much his favorite champion, is it?
One might say, I believe he said he was 500 games into the champion this
Okay, pretty much an OTP then?
Yeah, the guy knows Renekton. Certainly knows the breakpoints is kind of his go-to as Merbs is in ambush, maybe looking for a little bit of play. And there's that phrase you've been saying all day long, it's me, and I've been hiding.
See, I haven't said, listen, I haven't said a single time this game.
This game?
Yet.
The one time we go, okay, anyway, Charm onto Sencux is my slight frustrations with that phrase begin to haunt me here as it's double distortion forwards, not punished, but the electrocute comes through nonetheless, and the lost chapter advantage for Sencux proving its worth right now, and we're left with a game that, after those initial explosive moments in mid lane, has stalled for a moment, but Zaremba in this mid lane looking to see whether there's something to be found onto this LeBlanc, but turns out to be very little indeed.
Very nice. Taxers hovering around middle as well. The Astralis bot lane have solved in an entire wave, which means they can also move towards middle. And Zaremba has been around that mid side for the longest time. Now, the fact that Ericsson fell behind, the team makes sure that he cannot be further punished. He's already down 2 kills. Now, this is the Astralis special, baby. We're going to rotate the entire team through the map. We're going to leave Chrisbeck in the mid lane, and we're going to fight this Rift Herald, this time Vanir. 5 men in the river.
On the other side, you have a Renekton who's not turned up yet, but will have the ultimate available, ready to roll.
Oh, there
Watch
he is.
the R button, looking to get in. Not a lot of Fury stacked as yet. Team just waiting. Fury of the Sands. There's a turn around for the Rolly Bear there, trying to play this one out, but there's the ultimate in turn! Herald goes down, no idea who secured it is yet for the damage. Ultimate shot is pretty extreme. A 1-for-1 right now. Sencux gets the chains, but right now the health bars are falling, trying to ward Astralis off this eye. So lower Astralis, but Chrisberg with the HP bar advantage will allow Sencux to get in onto the eye and get that one for Astralis. A 1-for-1. But they still get the Herald to Astralis.
Very nicely done right there from Taxa. Dives in with the ultimate, secures the Rift Herald. Very important when there are lanes with a bunch of wave clear like Ahri in the mid lane. You need that Rift Herald to break the tower open. Then again, you see Astralis, they're forcing themselves 5 man into the choke point. That really does hurt. Had that Brom just been level 6, but he's not. Renekton, though, is enough for this choke point to force the HP buzz of Astralis low enough to the point where they back off. But look at all this work that Crispberg has been doing, chipping away slowly but surely, auto-attack per auto-attack, to the point where Vanir had to back out. Sencux dives in, grabs the Eye of Herald, and he can very selfishly now use it for himself in the mid lane, because he's the one holding it.
They might have been doing that anyway, let's be real, with the way this team has been playing, but either way...
There's no chance for your jungler to not use it, man.
Well, exactly, you can control this yourself. Dreampool, of course, a little late to that play, but still doing just fine in this matchup for now. But unfortunately, you know, the rest of the map falling apart a little bit. That Herald inventory, as we said, in Astralis, this was a big game for them in a lot of ways. A match against a team no longer in playoffs. With next week's games becoming increasingly important, with a lot of those playoffs teams really ramping up. Seeding still to be decided, and this game could really, really impact that. None of the Dragons thus far this game gone down, and they may be thinking about doing it, but Taxa instead just having a look around to see whether there's an invade available to him.
Oh, look at that though. Taxa is not sneaking in alone. He's bringing in his team with. Now, what I really like on what Sencux has done here is he has completed his boots. That means you get more movement speed. That means you get to be first on the play. Plus Magic Pen.
Comes out of the invis, will get the stun, tries to buffer it out with the Dredge Line. On the other side, it's a charm onto Tax, who's being pulled towards the Dragon, and an inexorable Doom. Smites for HP, and that means Ericsson still gonna get in, get out. Kraox, as has often been the way with this pairing, looks for a reset, that mid-jungle. They get one, they can keep running further. And Vanir win this skirmish and earn themselves a Dragon.
That was a little bit of an overreach. I'd like to see the fight with Taxa and Sencux again, because I felt like Sencux just did not do enough damage while Taxa was trading his HP bar onto two people right there. So I'm not sure if he had blown all of his spells, maybe in the mid lane wave. We'll see it right here. He is missing a bunch of mana. The wave is not pushed necessarily. And as you can see, auto-attack, auto-attack. There's a Q, a W. No chain, though, for Sencux at all.
In the mid lane, I don't know. Either way, didn't work out there. And it does mean that Ericsson gets to dive in, get the reset, and get out. Spirit Essence passive doing just fine there to heal the Ahri up as she went in very aggressively. Herald summon mid though, but he's now turned around as Merbs gets knocked up by the Dredge Line. Flash in from Kiba, being incredibly aggressive, but the turnaround now from Merbs is pretty extreme. Zaremba running out of HP though, must try and run. Puts up the door, but Crispberg will not be denied. The burst fire looking more like full auto at this point. Topside Carlson parries away the Ruthless Predator, avoids the Spectral Maw and gets to walk out of danger.
So botlane gets a 2v2 kill, Carlson avoids a gank, and in the mid lane, Sencux getting all the plating.
Here come the members of Astralis, try and punish it to 2v3 coming up. Ericsson roaming, but he's going to be too little too late. A Sky Splitter comes through on top of Kraox's head. Nearly with the ultimate, won't need to pop it. But now the HP bars, maybe Vanir thinks there's an angle to turn around, but no, it'll just be walking away for now.
Very nicely, well played right there. Taxa pops the Q, but Kraox walks out of distance and Trimple slice and dices through the wave, meaning that Q goes on cooldown without resetting by NLC ability. Carlson, though, against 3.
He's got himself a lunge and a flash and a prayer at this point. Lunges away, still got the riposte. Must gain this right. There it is, flashing now, but he's going to get stunned by Braum's passive, and concussive blows put down the Grand Duelist.
And finally, the manager pick on the map is going to be towards the side lane, weak side of Astralis on Carlson, but they had to get 3 members up the top side of the map. Kiba now in the mid lane. They're looking at Ericsson. He does have his ultimate up and available, but mainly, you open up that mid lane, you instantly unlock LeBlanc on the map.
But now Astralis, with the plays and the resources committed top, look to try and punish bot. Merbs throws down a control ward just in time to spot Taxa walk into the dry brush. He'll throw down his Q and try and ambush his way out to safety as Dreampool secures a second plate. Vanir now turning up towards this bot lane will ensure Merbs can stay around this tower, but plates were traded.
2 tower platings have gone down in bot lane, 4 tower platings in the mid lane, and Kiba might get caught.
Flash for the Winter's Bite, gets knocked up with the Dredge Line, but the passive is on. Must try and escape Glacial Fissure, I apologize, puts down. No Lissandra in this game, if I get my ability names right. Crispberg still free firing, does a lot of damage. Gets out of dodge now, and I believe that ultimate will time out shortly.
That's casually against a Viego with a mythic item, and this Zeri doesn't have any. So you can imagine how obnoxious this champion will be later on when there is no true tank on the side of Vanir. The tankiest member that you're going to have is going to be Zaremba on the Braum while the shield is active. everyone else will just melt to the Zeri.
Ericsson in a lot of danger.
What?
Popped. But more like a bubble than a human being in that one. Utterly disgusting. 3-0. Luden's complete, and Sencux takes his moment to strike.
You know what? We're gonna have to ask the production for next week to find us who has the most solo kills on LeBlanc between spring and summer. I think if we take spring, it's gonna have to be MNS because he played a lot of LeBlanc and it was the first champion he doubled up as well. But we had Backland with 3 solo kills, Sencux with 3 solo kills. Screw the solo kills.
His verse is a Dominus gets the stun though. Gonna get stunned in turn, and Dreampool gets the kill and will get out of dodge for now. But Sencux roaming up. Crayox has stolen the body of this Fura. Sencux dashing forward because he's got the ethereal chains. Gets the kill. That's a 4th for him.
4-0 for Sencux. And again, the blueprints come through. Taxa, mid lane gank. On to Ericsson after he lost his flash. Sencux using his advantage over and over again. Sencux might be getting caught here. There's 2 members of Vanir. He just used his W. It's just around by Crayox.
No ult yet.
2 levels down and 4 levels down from the side of Vanir. Can they actually catch him?
I think they'll wait for the recall. They're going to see whether he's shopping. Spirit, Spectral more, Toya Flash, stun! And they've got the passive on, double distorted down. Can they get close enough to secure the kill? They will not make it work. The cooldowns came off, and Sencux doesn't even need to pop his flash. Taxa gets the Rift Herald, and will get out while all that was happening.
Ooh, that was very close, but unfortunately the levels deficit right there. 5 levels down for Zaremba, 3 levels down for Crayox right there. The difference in HP bars and damage that you do at this point are enormous. And Crayox did not have, unfortunately for him, his ultimate up and available to try and assassinate that LeBlanc. Talking about that LeBlanc coming in with a Luden second and needlessly large rod for the next fight, which is going to be a second
Ericsson goes over the wall, but it's been dredge lined. Sorry, depth charged. I'll get that ultimate right now, but Ericsson with the ultimate down, but Taxa down his as well. Hopping forward, looking to punish this volley bear. Throws down the Q, surviving. Chrisberg, lightning crashes his way into the fight. Those Remember takers so low, goes down, and Sencux picks up his 5th. He's been dominating this game from start to finish, and he'll win this one for Astralis as well.
Yeah, and this is going to be the Dragon for Astralis as well, taking away the streak of 2 from Vanir, going to secure the first one. And honestly, this is looking more and more green for Vanir. Carlsen is fancying his way through that wall, might find an aggressive Crocodile together with Crayox onto the Viego. He's going to choose not to jump. But then again, Astralis, the 2 carries are coming online. Sencux 5-0-1. Luden Seko needs a large rod. He's going to be very close to what I'm assuming is going to be a Shadow Flame. Second item, looking down to Chrisberg. Item and a half on an ever-scaling late game Zeri.
Like, Sencux has got Ignite, he's got Distortion, he's just gone!
Oh.
Goodbye, sweet rat. We knew thee well.
Hello.
A moment of levity after the barbarity we witnessed there. LeBlanc might have fallen somewhat out of favor, but Sencux is piloting the champion with practiced ease. This player has been really stepping up as the split has gone on. The Akali games, the Silas games, now this LeBlanc game. Truly spectacular stuff.
Honestly, can I say it? I'll say it. I think the name change was a buff. Going back to Sencux gave him back the ability to pull the shenanigans on the map. Talking about shenanigans, of course. 4 members of Astralis strong on the top side of the map, trying to open that tier 2 as well. Possibly when you open it, you can pull up a fight too. That LeBlanc is so strong. It literally counts like 2 members right now. Look at Sencux.
Oh, joint highest level on the map alongside Dreampool's Renekton, but I am definitely more worried about the 6-0 LeBlanc than I am about this Renekton right now in the game. I wonder whether there might be a transition away from a Shadow Flame towards something like a death cap at this rate from Sencux. He's certainly feeling it.
Hey, screw that. Why not Magi's?
Right? I'm sure somewhere out there Nymera approves. As it stands, though, Scuttle Crab will be secure for Vanir, but that is a paltry victory as Merbs does step up to this wave. Last time we saw how that one went.
Oh,
no Ignite this time, though.
-1. You can't have everything.
Yeah, missed the cannon.
That's unfortunate, but it gives a little bit of time to Vanir to push in that mid lane. Sencux does not sport the teleport. As a summoner spell, he's going for the Ignite. He's going
Certainly
for
played off
kills,
right
and it has been to his advantage this game. Of course, now that the rest of Astralis are on the map, he can take his reset, come back with whatever we expect to be his second item, which is going to be that Shadow Flame. Of course, the second the Braum pulls up that shield. it's going to be really difficult.
Little tricky, has bought the stopwatch as well, and of course this is part of the deal with LeBlanc, is eventually she sort of transitions from being a sort of all-in champion to being more of a poke option, using that R cycle with the Qs best she can, and definitely heading towards the point where that's going to be an option as Astralis stepping into this bot side, looking to maybe punish Vanir, and they're definitely more members strong right now, as in fact the entirety of Astralis are looking to try and converge on this tier 2.
Yeah, and they brought the entire team. Taxer's dive in.
Sky Splitter and Stormbringer together, used by Taxa to turn off the tower, and this tower, not long for the world. Vanir can just watch, really, and wave the structure goodbye. The ethereal chains land onto Zaremba. Chrisberg spark surges forward, but the door goes up, or in this case, the metal chair will survive for this time.
I feel like I need to see a little bit of a better macro right here from Astralis. That the block is so strong that she can't stay on a side lane on her own. Use her as a split push tool. Yes, she doesn't have the ignite, but right there you can take mid lane, shove it in. The rest of the bot, or the rest of Astralis can be in the bot lane, pushing that tier 2. Be a little bit faster on the map. It's a 5,000 gold lead right now. This LeBlanc cannot be matched with 1 or even 2 members. Plus, even if she did, she's so slippery that she can get away. Now, of course, for Astralis, the next objective is going to be possibly getting another dragon, stacking
would
them up,
imagine.
finding the next victim for LeBlanc.
Still a little bit of time before that just gives us a moment to breathe, and this Fiora fallen a little bit in the laning phase, but very happily still in the game at that level 13 mark, and who cares? We've got LeBlanc this fed, and we'll maybe have a quick look at the NLC pen. Duratan excited for NLC Lotto. I hope you've had an exciting day. That's some nice squitches under a very pleased doggo's face.
Honestly, he looks very pleased with
Doesn't he?
today's games. We're very pleased as well. We had upsets, we've had clean games, we've had dominant teams. That's what we want to see right before we hit that EU Masters initialize.
Oh yes, and we've got about a minute or so until the dragon. I hope this will prove exciting enough for Duratan, the very fluffy dog indeed. And of course, it is another Hex Rift. We've had a number of those today. About a minute just shy before that one comes through. Kraox is around, but will not be able to get a hold of the Skullcrap. Was maybe just haunting that bush to see where there was an angle to steal. Can't quite make it work though.
I just love to see Sencux put into a lane with Ericsson.
Oh.
That's exactly what we're looking to see.
Ask and you shall receive. A single sigil of malice is enough to make Ericsson sweat as Dream Pull popped Dominus. Carlson maybe looking to trade this one back out, but the ultimates have been popped. Carlson trading this one back pretty well, though, and the grand challenge has been thrown down and forced a Dream Pull to flash out. He did not want to accept that gauntlet. Sencux now in the blue side jungle. He is a raid boss at this point.
Yeah, and the only lane that was supposed to snowball was a top side. Vanir might be looking for a 4 versus 4 fight here, though.
Might have to try, but I don't know whether it's going to be too little too late. Stormbringer comes through, teleport coming after as well. Good charm, and now the turnaround TP might be enough. Remember, there's no dominance. And already Chrisberg gets Ericsson. Well, can they turn around to Chrisberg, though? Who's trying to run away, throws down the heel, running as fast as they can. Dreampool gets one, but we're going to get more. Sencux over the wall. Zaremba so low. Chrisberg dodges the Spectral Maw. An ethereal chain means the Zeri cannot be touched. Sencux helps keep the Zeri alive as she dodges, dips, ducks, and destroys the enemy team.
And we know if you let Sencux and Chrisberg go to late game untouched, they're going to run away with the game. Chrisberg, beautiful movement in this team fight. Sencux making sure that he not only does the damage, but also protects his AD carry. Astralis are going to take away every single sign of life for Vanir, and this Baron, which will then allow them to use that on the Fiora, on their LeBlanc on a side lane, as well as a 3-man core to push another lane. The 1-3-1 may commence, or the 1-4 even.
The challenge from the other playoffs teams was thrown today at Astralis. They were the last team to play, and a lot of their rivals put on some exceptional performance, and Astralis are looking to be their match right here. What a series of plays.
Honestly, that was a pretty good engage. Walking through a choke point with Braum passives all over you is very difficult, but Sencux sees the target. Ericsson is the target onto that array. He takes him down. And look at that. He hovers the wall, makes sure that he helps Chrisberg, keeping Vanir members split between either moving forward or backwards. He's going to drop the chain down onto the Renekton and then help finish off the rest of the fight. Chrisberg was kept safe by the LeBlanc right there. And honestly, the team fights we've been seeing from Astralis are looking better and better the later the season gets.
And let's be fair, that fight might have looked very different if the game wasn't so incredibly snowballed and that LeBlanc wasn't increasingly looking like the next Dark Lord. Good Lord, so much damage, so many items, and so much damage coming straight over the wall. quite as much as I expected because the door was put up just in time. No entry allowed quite yet. But now with Baron, with Dragon, and a minute and a half to play with the purple buff on, Astralis can really put the nails in this game.
I love what Sencux is doing right here. He's hovering between mid and top.
Oh,
If Carlson
no,
needs, he's
no,
gonna
no.
be there. Ericsson's ultimate is gone. 3 members from a near top side.
Carlson might have overstepped a little bit though, trying to trade this one up best they can, but the charm will land and Kraus will secure that. But now Astralis have turned up to try and turn this around and avenge their top laner. Stormbringer thrown down, flash out from Kraus, trying to trade this one up best they can. Dreampool in with the dominus. Vanir staying alive. Taxa is still as well though. And all the while the wave is still in, and Vanir, yes, they're remembered to the good, but their health bars are certainly not. Dreampool is pulled to his death. Kiba flashes forward. He will never go back. Ericsson takes the wrong end of an electric trade from Sencux. He was legendary. Continue to hop forwards. Chrisberg gets another, as does Sencux. And just like that, the game is done. And Astralis continue to reach for the stars.
There is no one on the side of Vanir to stop them. 25 plus second time as an Astralis are marching in with an entire bound up wave.
In a league where our mid laners have put on an extraordinary split, Sencux throws his name in the hat once more. What a LeBlanc game from the former LEC player. What a performance from Astralis, who managed to push themselves further into those playoff standings.
Honestly, very, very impressive stuff from Astralis. Again, we've said, you don't have to be innovative. You don't have to be playing 3,000 different playstyles. You find the one that suits you, and if you play it well enough, no one will be able to crack you under any pressure. And honestly, Vanir tried here. They tried to stop the early game pressure. Taxa didn't necessarily have to gank too much. Sencux did most of it on his own.
His own stunts, yeah.
Get these kills onto Sencux, get that farm onto Chrisberg, and then their team fighting is stellar. The coordination in fights was also stellar. Honestly, this Astralis lineup, spring to summer, 180 degrees turnaround.
Completely agree. And my appropriately themed hats off to you, Astralis and Sencux in particular. That was a very well-played game. I think we're just waiting now on confirmation that we're good to go. So I think, any final thoughts, Trouble, before we are ready to hand it over to the analysts?
I'm just very excited to see a lot of our teams being so strong right before EU Masters. I feel like the fact that both academies are doing well this season, the fact that we have another 4 contenders that don't just look like they could take maybe a win from you, but we have 6 teams that, and if we get a 3rd seed this time, we're still gonna miss out on another 3 seeds. So I feel like LFL, we might be coming for you this season.
Ooh, bold words. Well, our playoff teams have been locked, and while XL stumbled somewhat over the last couple games, the rest of our playoff teams have really been turning the trajectories towards those EU Masters spots. And with that, we'll throw it to the analyst desk to take the end of the day away.
I've heard that before. LFL will coming for you. I've heard that one. It doesn't work out in the end. It's the same season. It just doesn't happen. But what a really good showcase from Astralis. They really pulled off on all parts they wanted to. We're getting hats. Do you want a hat?
Thank you.
Aragon, if you want a hat, just say yes.
I'll take one, yeah, sure.
Oh, he's joining.
Lovely.
Great. I like
I'm the one who made Timo, and I'm the one without the hat. Astralis pulling off really, really well on this one versus Vanir. It was a showcase of excellency and why they picked what they picked. So let's start talking about LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it is really at the center of the issues. Basically, where it all started was the Ericsson death early here, as you could see. This is really, really important because the whole comp for Vanir was to play through mid and bring that into topside, have Renekton slow push, oh gosh, that's so brutal, slow push into topside, under the tower, and dive and deny waves into the Fiora. But once Ericsson starts dying, she can, like, the Ahri can no longer move, right? He gets his flash blown. There's no way he can roam into river and move topside to snowball that Renekton. And in the end, what you have is a Renekton with, yes, a significant CS lead, but that isn't enough, right? So as a Renekton aficionado, right, like I know the champions that you come out of lane, right? Because a big win condition on Renekton is to come out of lane and start winning team fights. I know the champions which you struggle to win team fights against on. And that at the top tier is Zeri, right? So basically, Renekton cannot function function into Zeri in teamfights without flash. You just simply can't. And even then, if you flash on it, you need to be able to one-shot her. So if you're not fed, if you're not exceptionally fed, there's no hope. You get to mid-game teamfights. I knew the game was over at 15 minutes, or even like as soon as Ericsson died, to be honest, because there was no way to snowball Renekton hard enough to be able to beat Zeri in the teamfights.
Before we jump into that Dragon fight, we're going to have a clip about that one. We talk about the Viego as well. We need to look onto the other side of the spectrum and understand why the Viego didn't work out. Or maybe we have the team fight, apparently.
Yeah, so looking at the team fight, right, let's just talk about this, because we're at the point of the game where Viego kind of comes back into the Volibear matchup, where he starts to be able to play the game, but the problem is it's too little, too late. Astralis were too far ahead. We obviously saw Sencux, and you see it here, you mentioned the Renekton, just talked about it, can't catch on to Crispberg, who's just able to stack up the movement speed.
He's just walking.
And here, just walking around, it's impossible for Dreampool to really play this fight, so it was a bit of a too little, too late. I talked about it in the green room with VR to talk about the jungle matchup early on, is the fact that Volibear, he beat Viego early on. In the late game, yes, it flips, but the problem is you then drafted a top laner who would like to fight for the Herald and the Renekton, and if your jungler is guaranteed to lose that 1v1, it is going to be very hard to get that Herald, so it's where it all really fell apart for me when the Herald couldn't come to fruition because of the Volibear just being better in that stage of the game than the Viego.
Really complicated to pilot this sort of composition versus Astralis, and especially when the mid laner is a menace, is Sencux for the interview. I mean, you did a dirty one, man. How are you feeling about this one? That was really hard to watch, and you did really good. How are you feeling?
Thank you, thank you. I mean, I'm feeling good. I think it was a decent performance by us, so yeah, I'm happy.
And it seems like the champion select was in favor of you guys on every single lane. We may not look into the bot side. Yeah, we need to look into the bot side. Zeri, LeBlanc, and the Fiora versus the Renekton, which was the counter pick at the last pick. How did you guys react as soon as you saw the Renekton versus those 3 picks?
I mean, we kind of expected it before, to be honest. It's like one of the champs he likes to play, so yeah. I mean, I don't know, we knew it going into it, and King Kyle was ready for it, so it is what it is.
This is another showcase of what Astralis can do, at least on this summer split, as you guys are looking for playoffs. You're locked in for the top 6, but where do you think you're going to end at the end of the split? What do you believe is going to be your seed before you jump into playoffs?
I mean, I don't really care, to be honest.
You don't even care?
I mean, of course, I would like to have a better seed, but in the end, it just matters about beating teams in playoffs, so... I mean, as long as we keep improving for that, I'm fine. I mean, we will obviously try to win every single game. I'm not going to say I'm going to go around it, but yeah.
Okay, I like that approach. So if you may, tell me, how do you believe the ranking should be on the top 6? In your mentality, where do you believe every team should be on the top 6?
Nah, man, that's too long a list to make. No, I don't know actually. I don't think I can answer that. I didn't watch the other teams like enough.
It's cool. So where do you rank Astralis at least?
On a good day we can be 6. First. On a bad day we can be 6. It depends on the day, I think. But I definitely think we have potential to beat everyone right now. So
everyone, you could beat everyone if you wake up on a good day.
Yeah, we can for sure.
Okay, so EU Masters is the objective.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's see what happens.
I already said that I need to beat Maxi's bald head, so he needs to make it as well.
Let's make this happen, please. Sencux, thank you so much for this interview. Good luck and awesome showcase of skill today.
Thank you. See ya.
I like this confidence from the new Astralis. This is a new Astralis to me. Like, we can beat whoever approaches us. We know how to play this game. We're really comfortable. This is your team. Like, you're really proud of this team, no?
Yeah, I am really proud, especially the improvement, right? Had they come into spring and dominated that and just continue to dominate, it wouldn't be something as exceptional. But the fact that they turned around a spring split, which was honestly dire. They won 2 games at the start of the split, and then they just lost, 7, 8 in a row, missed out on playoffs, and it was kind of lacking direction. They really needed the big go buttons to really do anything. And in summer, this team has just been reinvented with just a couple changes. Vanir to win as a coach and keep as a support, and they are 100 times better now, and it is so good to watch. And as Sencux said, I think they can beat any team on the day, but they can also lose to any team on the day, depending on what form they hit.
Do you agree with that statement?
I think we have some pretty tough teams at the top. I don't necessarily know if I agree with beating X7 and Dusty, but I do think they might be top 3.
Okay, top 3 at least. Now let's talk with Vanir. We have Flash returning for the interview. Welcome back, Flash. Pleasure to have you on the show. And
Hello,
obviously,
hello.
this is the deal. You're no longer in contention for those playoffs. And I would like to ask you your summary of what Vanir did during this split. What you believe happened throughout the entire split that led to this moment.
I mean, like, the off-season overall was a little bit unlucky, and if someone knows how it went, then they would agree on that. However, I think with what we could, like what players we could get in 2 days, I think it was kind of okay performance from us. Obviously, we lost a few games that could be easily won by us, like JDXL game, Riddle game, Dusty 2 games. Also, we had the upper hand, but we just threw the game. So, like overall, the split was decent. Personally, I learned a lot, improved as a coach. So I could say that with my performance, I'm kind of happy. However, like when we look on the bigger picture, then obviously not hitting playoffs hurts a little bit, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that is the question that I wanted to ask you. What did you improve as a coach during this split? Because we always talk with the players. There's a lot to talk with the players, but I want to know the coach point of view. What do you believe you learned so much in this split, and how did you develop? In what area?
I mean, especially how to work with different players, because like every player is different. Everyone needs a different approach, and also improving on some aspects of the game and how to tell the players and how to give this knowledge to them. I think this is what I improved at. But we'll see how it will go later on, right?
Okay, it's going to be a few games moving forward. What can we expect from Vanir?
I don't know. Maybe some Timo Ignite top. We'll see. Since or maybe Katarina for troubling also. We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
If that happens, you know.
Maybe Pantheon also again.
Oh boy. Okay, now you're making me excited. Thank you so much for that one, Flash.
No problem.
Best of luck. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah.
Have a nice one.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Timo, Pantheon, Katarina. That's like the trinity of all.
I'm really disappointed he didn't say Renekton. I wanted to chime in, but I
You
felt
got a
rude.
Renekton.
Did he say Renekton?
No,
Got it
you
today,
already
though.
played Renekton.
Yeah, but I want more.
Yeah. You can never be satisfied.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Renekton every game.
Hey, we had one Renekton. What about two?
Exactly.
Now, looking for this, just to wrap it up for the entire day and looking at Astralis, they seem like a top 3 team to you as well.
I think actually for me, if they're top 4, they should be happy in my opinion. I think the fact that we have some teams that are on the down at the moment makes it very hard to really predict, because X7 and Dusty are on the up, Astralis are a bit on the up, but then also a couple of games where they're a bit down. Riddle and JDXL are the 2 real teams that seem to be on a downer at the moment. But I still believe that Riddle and JDXL are very good teams, so one of them, you know, if they find their form, could definitely keep that 3rd place spot, or maybe even 2nd. That would mean Astralis.
Might as well show everybody what you're talking about. If you talk about standings, might as well put it here to help you illustrate what you're talking. Look at that. JDXL and Dusty tied up, Riddle and Astralis at 4th place tied up with X7. It seems like Astralis and X7 are neck and neck. They're not letting each other go. Regardless of the matchup, it seems they had to fight against each other to let go of that place.
Yeah, they're still constantly fighting, right? And for me, that's what I highlighted, because we have JDXL and Riddle as the 2 teams that are on a downward spiral at the moment. But with 2 games to go, you have a weekend now to really refresh and get back into the groove of things. So these teams just need to pick up 1 win, for example, for JDXL, for it to be impossible for Astralis to catch up. Riddle Esports could definitely take a game as well in my eyes, or maybe even 2 if they find their form back. So for me, Astralis should be happy if they get that top 4, because 3rd place, obviously, you're allowed to pick. 4th place, you can be picked. And we all know what top 2 means. That's going into the upper bracket, of course.
My topic for you is, this seems like a really rough momentum for 2 specific teams. JDXL and Riddle. Those were the teams that were just climbing non-stop throughout the entire summer split. And we're like 1 week away from ending the regular split, and they're struggling really hard. This is the worst time to struggle like that, no?
Yes, so I actually have experience with this. I don't know, historically, when I was playing on teams on M&M, I would smash the early season. I won the most recent split I played. I won the regular season of my league, the UKLC. But then we lost the playoffs. I always do this. I always have this. So honestly, I don't know what the solution is to this. I just feel really bad for them because I understand what it feels like to smash your regular season and then really struggle towards the playoffs. I think what you do, though, what we did, what worked best was double down on what you were good at. So even though you start losing, you just keep going with that and have faith that you can at least come second, you know.
Easy execution,
yeah,
plans and all that.
Stuff you know you can do. Don't try to panic and do everything else.
There are a few players that we need to highlight, and that's why we're going to toss it to the play of the day by MasterCard, the play that showcase how good the day it was. Let's show.
Oof, yeah, let's take a look at this one. Dusty against Riddle. Obviously, the back battle for second was how we marketed this game. Around the Elder Drake fight, I really want to take a look at the unboxing here. The Moonlight Vigil he finds is absolutely massive at setting up for the fight, with the Gravitum, of course, slowing them by 90% on 4-man, and that they're allowed to further engage to follow up, and they ended up getting 4 kills and just absolutely going into cruise control mode and just dominating the game from this point onwards.
We really have to stop getting Dusty highlights. I feel like it may be biased, you know what I mean? I think we need different teams.
I think Dusty were doing so good because we never talked about them. And now that we're showcasing how good they are, maybe this is a curse. Yeah. The caster curse.
I think definitely a runner-up to that play could have been the X7 ult flash from Seraphine into the Wombo combo with that on the 4-man. I think that was also a really good play. I definitely think we could have put that.
We had a few good ones today. Did you guys have fun today?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's been fun being with you, Aragon. I mean, Asheram, you're still Asheram, so room for improvement, regardless though.
Always.
Being with you.
Likewise, likewise.
The moment you think you don't need to improve is the moment that you're no longer good at your job. Let's show the schedule for next week. It's going to be the last one of the regular split. On the first day, it's going to be JDXL versus Dusty. Finally understanding who's going to take the first place of this split. Team Singularity versus M&M doesn't mean a lot for these teams, but Astralis versus Riddle means a lot. Bifrost versus X7 means a lot. And to wrap it up, it's Noriki to run away from relegations versus Vanir.
The first thing I realized when I look at this schedule is the fact that all of our playoff teams are playing against each other. The teams not in playoffs are battling against them. So it's obviously about the relegations you mentioned. But for me, you know, these are so important games, right? If Astralis want to keep their hopes of getting the top 2, they need to be beating Riddle Esports on Monday. Otherwise, they will be mathematically locked out. Bifrost versus X7, a battle of our reigning champion against our second place from last season. Can Bifrost find their form and really show themselves that they are a good team before they head into playoffs, as not just a sixth place seed, but also a team that could actually potentially go far? And then JDXL versus Dusty. Can JDXL keep the throne and find their form again, or will Dusty overtake them for now and reign in the NLC?
What is your pick from all these games?
I wanted to say Dusty, but honestly, I think they're just going to go 8 wins in a row. But with the Riddle, Astralis, and the Bifrost X7, I think my favorite storyline right there is are Astralis really and Bifrost really the tied third? Because to me, they're the tied third team right now. Like, if I could make my own standings with how strong I think the teams are, I think it would be a toss-up on third place between Astralis and Bifrost, and Riddle and what's the other team? XL are below that. I want to see who actually solidifies third in my eyes from these games.
This was the last day of, well, almost the last week of the regular split on the summer 2022. I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching these games. The next ones you cannot miss because it's going to solidify and cement the top 6 teams and the seeds they're going to take. Last words for the day, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Always.
I'll go back to working on my tunnel back home to Denmark.
What about you, Eragon?
Likewise, I hope to come on again.
I would like to have you guys back on the desk as well. I hope to have you at home back with us. And congratulations to the production, to the cameramen, to everyone who worked today. You guys were amazing. Keep climbing the mountain. I'll see you soon on Monday. Have a nice one.